Hello dear tea friends from around the world. Welcome to a new tea class with me, Stéphane Erler, the founder of the Tea Masters blog and the tea-masters.com tea boutique in Taiwan. Welcome to this class where we are going to talk about Song Pin Hao, maybe one of the most famous pu'er out there. It's really a mythical tea, one that is over 100 years old. It has a track record of breaking records at auctions, fetching prices around I think 750 US dollar per gram. Actually, this record was broken by another pu'er from that era, from the end of the Qing dynasty, early Republic, around 1910, 1920, from Fuchang Hao or Fuyan Hao, and this one was actually double, even 1,500 US dollars per gram. So incredible prices, and you could not buy just 1 gram. You had to buy a whole tong, seven cakes at the same time. So these prices are quite incredible, because right now the price of gold is around is a bit slightly above 60 US dollar per gram. So already for Song Pin Hao from this era, at 750, it's 10-12 times more than the price of gold. So we are really talking about one of the most dreamed of pu'er. And today I'm not going to present not only one, not only two, but three. And why am I going to present this tea? Well, most of the time it would be, when people talk about Song Pin Hao, it would be to talk about its history, background, etc., etc. Maybe its prices, of course, but I'm going to do much more than that. I'm going to drink it. And why drink it today? Because it's still Good Friday for you in the US. It is I don't know, Samedi Saint, maybe Good Saturday here in Taiwan, so it's still an important festival. I usually would, for such a tea, probably use a tiny Zesha teapot to brew it, but because it's an important day, I'm going to take something else. This is also going to be a surprise later on. So maybe let's start with a few words where we can find about where we can read about this tea. Actually, we can read about it in this book that actually you can find on my website, but not for long. It's almost sold out. Originally, it's a book about affection for appreciation and collection, the forgotten stories of purple clay. So this book actually is mostly about Zesha teapots, Qing teapots, but it also has at the end an interview with Lo Chu-fun, who is, or actually was, because he passed away a few years ago, the owner of a tea shop in Hong Kong, and he was born in 1927 in Guangdong, and then went to Hong Kong to work. He worked on many different teas, but we read also in this book that Fu Hua Song Pin tea is one of Lo's earliest brands. We can, I don't know if you can see this on page, if you have it, it's on page 170. It features a picture with like a big napier of the Song Pin, Fu Hua Song Pin logo, and it tells us that this is actually the company that used Song Pin as one of the brands. Now, it's already not the same maker anymore, because the Hao names when in Puerh, they date to the end of the Qing dynasty. At that time, it was fashionable for tea companies to finish their name with Hao. That's why you have so many names that end like this: Song Pin Hao, Fuyuan Hao, Tongqing Hao, etc., etc. Now, here, this guy was born only in 1927, so he was working in tea in the 50s in Hong Kong, and so this brand had been around already for a while. It was not, well, Puerh was not such a hot brand, not such a hot tea as it is nowadays. So so then he was able to acquire this this brand and use it in the 50s when making tea in Hong Kong. So it's also interesting that they explain a little bit later on page 173 and later that to produce the Song Pin, they would use also tea leaves from Vietnam and from Thailand, if I remember well. I'm looking at this. Sorry. So, well, it really explains a lot of, yeah, here it is. Lo even went to Vietnam and Thailand by himself to source tea leaves for producing his private brand, Phu Hoa Song Pin. In Cantonese, it's called Phuc Hoa Song Pin. And Song Pin is a term representing premium puer since the Qing dynasty. That's what they write here. But apart from puer, some tea shops also produce other varieties of dark teas, such as Liu Bao tea, named according to its original town in Liu Bao in Guangxi, Gu Lao tea, Sunny Shun Luan, etc., for exports to Southeast Asia. So it has a lot of history about tea in Hong Kong at that time. So we see that Phu Hoa Song Pin was then the name that he was able to use. It was not such a big deal because Song Pin Hao was not the brand it is today. And what is interesting is that the tea cakes then he pressed himself. They were pressed in Hong Kong and not necessarily not in Yunnan. Huh? So he would get sometimes tea leaves from Yunnan. They explain also how the market was organized, with always the CNNP controlling everything, and then you had wholesalers and the first level of wholesalers, and then the secondary level. So sometimes they were able to get tea leaves from Yunnan, and sometimes he would even go to Vietnam and to Thailand to get his own leaves and look at inspect really the leaf quality. And for him, Song Pin was already something of a premium character because of its probably of its long history dating back to the end of Qing dynasty. Now here I have one cake from this brand, Phu Hoa Song Pin. This is what it looks like. I think maybe it's the first time that you can see it on the internet. simply written cha, and Song Pin Chi the Yuan Cha. So this is the wrapper that was used by this Hong Kong brand, and this one is from the 70s. Now looks nice. Shall we open it? Maybe not. Let's. It looks so nice, and I have something even older. It is this one. Now without a wrapper, but actually it's from the same source. Also this Fu Hua Song Pin from Mr. Lo in this shop in Hong Kong. So you can see this. So this would be, and this one is from the 60s, but pressed in Hong Kong. Looking very nice. And the smell, maybe slightly deeper. The shape seems to be a bit different. We can see also still some marks of the textile and places that are a bit more that are easier to flake, some that are maybe a bit more compressed. And so these are the slightly more recent from the 70s and from the 60s. And here I have a few grams of Song Pin Hao from the 20s. I'm going to show them to you. That's what they look like. Very large leaves, and I would say they look a little bit more red, but they are not even in color. If a tea is completely even in color, it really is a sign of that it has been fermented artificially with water. Here we can still see that different leaves of different sizes will have different colors. It's the same here. You have a lot of incense. It's a very dry wood and really a bit of camphor, but very like old furniture. When you go to an old church, old temple with wood in summer, you have this kind of smells. This now smells a little bit stronger than this. Even though there are fewer leaves, they look a bit quite nice. Well, let's put them back. And what I propose is to drink from this one. So we take also this one away from the 70s. And let's flake a bit of this cake Song Pin, Fu Hua Song Pin from the 60s. Again, when you are flaking puerh, try really not to break the leaves, preserve their integrity, so you try to do it very carefully. Take your time, try to find those places that are more loose. So in this cake, I think this was the portion where it was loosest, and now I can. How much do I have? Now that the leaves are flaked, they do start to look much more like those that I saw from the that I have from the 20s. A very sturdy look. Oh, especially this one now. Here is a leaf that I really want to get out. Can I get it? Yeah. It's stuck, this larger leaf. How much do we have here? I think it's already a nice amount. Well, maybe a couple of leaves more. Sometimes you can slightly tap your cake, see if some leaves come out. Okay, that's really enough now. Let me put it back. So we have just seen 3 different Song Pin Hao. The loose ones, they come from older cakes that were handled by the tea shops in Hong Kong, and when you open up old tongs, there will always be leaves that will fall apart because the cake is so old that not all the leaves are still very well compressed. And then what they would do when they were repackaging, rehandling these poor cakes from Song Pin, they would keep the droppings and put them aside, and that's how I was able to get these leaves from droppings of Song Pin Hao poor cakes that were handled before in Hong Kong. And I've also shown you 2 other cakes, one without a wrapper because it's so old, and this one with a wrapper. It's a bit younger, from the 70s, and this one is still this one does have the original wrapper of Fu Hua Song Pin, and it's So these are really the genuine Song Pin Hao, not the ones that where they would take the logos and crudely reprint them and use them on the teas that were made after the years 2000. There are lots of fake Song Pin or young Song Pin that actually don't have any link with the original brand, and where the merchants or simply retook the logo. These here are genuine Song Pins. Hopla. Not the same. And since it was not such a famous product at that time, there were no reasons to make it to use how would I say, to make it a forgery out of it. It was still considered a premium tea, so he would put his heart into making the best tea possible. Now, what am I going to use for teapot for these leaves? Of course, a very nice one from my collection, because it's the Easter weekend, so I think it deserves this Qing dynasty, Qianlong era teapot, hexagonal teapot with Qing Hua paint and a little lion. And as you've seen, I've disposed my my teacups like a cross. This is going to be my only decoration today, so let's first preheat. Very nice. Of course, it still has some storage smell, but it does not smell like dirt. It's really much more like old wood, and nice old wood. Okay. Let's do this. Now, I had the privilege of tasting the 20s Song Pin Hao already 2 years ago when I graduated from my tea sommelier course. That was performed by T. Parker, and since I graduated first, I even had the honor of preparing this tea and then I used this teapot. You can, I think, still see my pictures on my blog 2 years ago. I think it's February 2020 or maybe March I posted them. And I'm now quite interested to see if it will remind me of the taste I had with this 1920s. Of course, there is 40 years of difference between the 20s and the 60s. This explains the color that is a little bit more red in the 20s, and it probably will explain also why some of the finer wood and incense notes are more apparent in the older Song Pin. But let's see how much there is in the 60s. This one is already now approaching its 70th year. Very nice. Make sure that the water is well boiled. It is from a tetsubin, that's perfect. And here we go. I'm going to pour very slowly to really emphasize the taste. Okay. Now, if you believe in magic, you can try to cast a spell. If you are more in the spirit of Good Friday, you can make a prayer. Ask for good tea. What will it be? Song Pin Hao. A tea that has waited 60 years to be drunk, to be brewed. So you've seen it's the first time I'm brewing this cake. Now, such a rare tea is not on my selection. If you really are interested, send me a message, but it's unfortunately it's not so cheap. Oh, the color is beautiful. What a color. Very bright, very transparent, and it still looks so alive. It's really not too strong. Some people make their aged pour too strong until the tea liquor looks quite dark. Here it shines. Let me show you the nice cup. Oh, the sense of incense definitely are there, and these roots, maybe even ginseng. And it's so pure, amazing. Very sweet, but I think it can be more powerful. So but it's amazing in terms of harmony and purity. It's really a great fit for this day, where it's really perfection and a glimpse at heavens. Well, no words. So I cannot say much more. So if you have questions and you are on YouTube, you can ask them. Otherwise, I'll stop here the class. Thank you very much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you have enjoyed this little class about Song Pin Hao. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. Thank you very much.